What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, there's been some talk about Canelo Alvarez, and there's been some things that was said, and that was drawn out of proportion. And there's also been some things that was said as controversial, but then there's also been some things that was said that, in my opinion, was factual and downright to the point. And at least when you addressing fans who love to make excuses for fighters, but always want to point the blame on other fighters. Most of the time, like I always say, the things that content creators are saying is mostly you're going against the fan base more so than the fighters, unless the fighters, okay, are exhibiting behaviors and exposing themselves that hey, this person actually said this, that, and the third, but the other time they said this, that, and the fourth, or whatever, right? So now it's like, are you actually condoning, certain things that you shoot down other fighters for? Then you have to go bring up video. You have to bring up evidence and proof. Now I'm gonna let y'all hear something. I'm gonna tell y'all basically what was said for the point of this video. This is Canelo Alvarez, and this is pretty much what people are referring to. Okay. Um, there may be more videos where there's like, well, this is the only video actually that I know of, and I search and scour it. This is the only one where he actually speaks about this. Um, Not saying that there's not an interview that he may have had where it might have been just quick and yes or no answer about fighting Jake Paul, but I want you to hear this, and I'm gonna tell you what was said, and not word for word as far as the whole interview. I'm just gonna basically tell you what was said and what the problem is about what he said.
Hey, Saul. Saul, ¿qué pensás de Jake Paul?
Yeah, we fight Jake Paul.
Are you gonna give him a chance? Jake, ¿le vas a dar una oportunidad a Jake Paul? Hey, Saúl, ¿podías firmar esto, por favor? Sí. Espera, ahorita.
Caleb Plant says he'll beat you twice if we give him a rematch.
¿No le querés dar la oportunidad? ¿Por qué?
¿Vale?
¿Por qué no le querés dar la oportunidad?
Todavía no está listo.
¿No estás listo?
Todavía no.
Pero si crees que sería una buena opción, está enseñando, ¿no?
No, ahorita no. Aquí tenemos él para Jake Paul, mira.
¿Qué tiene que pasar para que le des una oportunidad?
No, pues que siga mejorando.
¿Sí?
Mejorando, sí.
¿Qué te parecería una pelea? Vos y tu hermano y los hermanos Jake y...
No, ahorita no.
¿Todavía no?
Rematch.
Gracias.
Caleb Plant rematch. We beat him. We don't need that rematch. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Canelo. ¿Ustedes se van, por favor, Canelo?
Canelo, ¿cómo está?
Hola, Canelo. ¿Cómo está?
Okay, so that's pretty much all it is. He signed autographs. He was getting out of like a stretch limo, and he went in the building. They waited for him to come back out, and the video is like 3 minutes and 35 seconds long. Okay, so basically, now when he was asked about, I'm gonna talk about Caleb first, just quick and get that out the way, because I want to make the point about what the issue is about what he said that people are upset about. When he was asked about fighting Caleb Plant, he said, Caleb says that he'll even fight him in a rematch. Now, what he's saying is, Canelo is, we won't need that rematch. So pretty much he's saying he's going to destroy um, Caleb Plant. There'll be no need for a rematch. Now, here's the problem with that, okay? Now, if there's no rematch clause, now, I don't think Canelo really understood what was being said. Caleb is saying after he beat him, he'll fight him in a rematch. This guy is saying, will he rematch Caleb Plant, right? Most of the people expect Canelo to win this fight. But if there's no rematch clause, right, which we've had this situation with Lomachenko and Tiafimo. If there's no rematch clause, right, and he's that confident that we won't need a rematch, if he was to lose, okay, if he was to lose, Caleb Plant might do the same thing Tiafimo is doing right now and say, look, these motherfuckers disrespected me so bad they didn't even want to give me a rematch clause because they just thought they was going to win. Why should I give him a rematch? He might do the same thing if that's the case. If he wins, maybe he does give him the rematch. Okay. Um, the money he's making the rematch would be more than what he was making the first match. Okay. And if it's about ending this whole thing about who's the best, okay, I beat him twice. That's what most people would expect to happen, right? But in boxing, things just don't happen the way you think they should often. So we might have that situation if Caleb wins because he's saying we won't need that rematch. Now, if he's saying that, but there is a rematch clause, well, then that just shows you, no, he's not as super confident as he's saying he is because, like Teofimo, they just thought, well, Lomachenko, they just thought they were going to blow past Teofimo. And that didn't happen. I don't care about the shoulder shot. I don't want to hear nothing about the shoulder. I don't care about that. You could have considered that in the beginning. You never know. I could go in there and be whooping his ass. Something happened, fall the wrong way, twist my ankle, anything, get, throw my shoulder, anything, something can happen. So the rematch clause is not because I don't think I can beat him. The rematch clause is because shit can happen. And then if it does, I got my rematch. Considering the fact that injuries do happen during fights as well. But they didn't do that. They really thought they was just going to blow Teofimo out the water. And it didn't happen. So we may see the same thing if this happens. Now, when they asked him about Jake Paul fighting, Jake, he said no, he's not ready. Right? They asked him what does he need to do? Like what, pretty much he says Jake Paul needs to get better. He's not ready right now. Get some experience at beating an elite level fighter. Okay. First of all, Jake Paul has a long way to go before he would be able to fight anybody even close to on Canelo's level. Any elite level fighter. This is not what Jake and Logan Paul want to do. What they want to do is continue to fight old washed up guys that are far removed from their prime and that are much smaller than they are. That's what they do. And their excuse is, I'm a YouTuber. They make it sound like they just got off the couch, no training at all, went in the ring and just fought these guys and lasted. The problem that people have, okay, with what Canelo said and what Canelo fans are not understanding for whatever reason, because it's plain and simple. You got a guy like Demetrius Andrade, okay? And this is the problem. Demetrius Andrade is an elite level fighter, and he is the WBO champion. And Canelo told him, you're a horrible fighter, a horrible fighter. You've beaten no one. Shakes his head, nope, don't even consider it. But the fact that he considers, yeah, if Jake Paul gets more experience or what. Now, he could be saying that shit just to not sound like he's just disrespecting this guy. But that wouldn't make sense that you'd have to filter what you have to say when you completely disrespected and cursed at and threatened Demetrius Andrade for wanting to fight you. excuse me, who is a proven champion, but Canelo says he's beaten nobody. To even say to Demetrius Andre, hey, for you to fight me, man, you gotta fight some better guys. You beat some better guys, then we can fight. You know, which would make no sense. And saying it because these guys don't want to fight Demetrius Andre, and Canelo's aware of that. Canelo's fought guys that Demetrius Andre could beat. So you can't sit here and act like to say that. That would mean for you to say that and mean that. That would mean you really believe that all the guys that you fought would beat Demetrius Andre. Because at the end of the day, look, this guy Collins and what's his Saunders. You know how many people believe Andre would beat both of them? So regardless, he's definitely in that same seat with them. So you fought them. So at the end of the day, my thing is the fact that he actually said he said no, but he says they have to, improve. He'd have to prove himself and beat an elite level fighter. How many fights does Jake Paul? This is his third or fourth fight, right? Fourth fight. So he has 4 fights under his belt. This is a guy who has no business in the ring with current fighters. This is why these guys do what they do. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather is a retired fighter. And that's why every time people bring Floyd's name up, it's like you guys keep bringing up a retired 44-year-old guy that is living his life, relaxing, and can still come back and get a bag because his name holds weight. And you keep saying the same nonsense over and over. Even when Floyd fought Conor McGregor, I remember clearly Oscar De La Hoya was all, he's tarnishing his legacy. I don't know why a guy like Floyd, a fighter of his stature, would go and fight a guy like, Conor's not even a boxer. He's not even a boxer. I think it was the same or following week they asked him about Conor versus Canelo Alvarez. Remember that? Remember that? Conor versus Canelo, right? That would be a huge payday. Oh, we can make the fight. Oh, we can make the fight. Wait. Oscar De La Hoya had stood there and bashed Floyd Mayweather. Okay? He had bashed Floyd Mayweather verbally for the fact of him even taking the fight with Conor McGregor for $300 million. Right. Oscar De La Hoya. See, I want to point out some hypocrisy on this too, okay? Turns right around, as I just stated, and all of a sudden, he was willing to make the fight. He was willing to make the fight with Conor versus Canelo. He wanted that to happen. Okay. The same fans who sat there and said Manny Pacquiao is fighting. I'm not talking about just recent. I mean back then. Oh, Manny Pacquiao is in here getting ready to fight another current pro boxer, and Floyd is fighting for his 50th fight a guy who is not even a boxer. And what did Manny Pacquiao say out of his own mouth? Not his manager. And nobody. What did he say? Oh yeah, sure. I fight Conor McGregor. Yeah, I fight Conor. It's okay for wait. So it's okay for Manny Pacquiao. It's okay for Oscar Team Canelo or whatever. It's okay for these guys to fight Conor. The fights never materialized, but it was okay for them. But just for some reason, not Floyd. Do you guys seem to forget that Roy Jones Jr. wanted to fight Anderson Silva in a boxing match years before Floyd and Conor fought? You guys forget Muhammad Ali got in the ring and ran and jumped up on the ropes and was getting kicked in his legs and throwing little jabs at Antonio Inoki. You guys forget that. And it wasn't even a boxing match. It was a boxer versus a guy who kept falling to the floor, kicking Ali in the legs. You guys forget this stuff? Before Floyd Mayweather got in the ring with the Big Show, Muhammad Ali got in the ring with Gorilla Monsoon. So I when I hear, and the thing is, nobody bashed these other guys for doing the same things. just certain guys you point the finger at. Well, not only the fact that a guy says he wouldn't do something and then winds up wanting to do it, like Oscar said, Floyd is he's disrespecting himself. He's tarnishing his legacy. Well, hold up. He also said Floyd is coming back doing these exhibitions because he needs money. Well, isn't Oscar De La Hoya supposedly coming back for a comeback fight? And do you remember when they asked him? I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know if it was the Breakfast Club or some show. I remember him being interviewed and they asked him, was he ever thinking about coming back? Oh, no, I'm done. I'm retired. I'm living a good life. I don't have to. And that's what I say. And that's when he started talking about Floyd Mayweather, talking about how I never made the money Floyd made. I made good money. Not what Floyd made, but I made good money. I don't have to come back. I know what I can do. And I know boxing is behind me. It's a whole new life for me now. I remember the fucking interview. I just don't remember what show it was on. And I was watching it on YouTube. He talked all this shit about Floyd Mayweather having to come back and do exhibitions because the difference with him and Floyd is even though Floyd makes more money, has made more money, Floyd has crazy spending habits and all this and that. So that's why he's coming back. How would he know that? Is he Floyd's banker? Is he Floyd Mayweather's accountant? He knows what Floyd has in the bank. He said he was done with boxing. Now all of a sudden, you see how when time goes by, people forget what guys have said. So now all of a sudden, guess who's coming back? The Golden Boy himself. So if you don't need money and boxing's behind you, you have your sights set on other things. You're a businessman. You know Golden Boy Promotions is your baby. Why are you coming back? So should Floyd Mayweather or other people start saying Oscar's coming back because he's broke? This is one of the things I say, man. Like I don't care about the drama, all the nonsense, but see when you see these things and you piece them together and you just say, you know, it's one thing how 1 minute you're this way, you're for this, you're for that. The next minute you forget everything you has been recorded. People can just go watch the videos, but people don't even care about what's right and wrong. They just care that their favorite fighter, okay, their favorite fighters, they win. They get away with whatever they want to do. That's all they care about. They don't even care about right and wrong. They don't care about if something is true or not. Because even in a sense of a fighter having something in his system, right? And people saying, well, it's not like he used pads or no. Simple as this, right? When you are in the corner of a fighter, the only thing that's supposed to be in your bottle is water. That's it. Water. That is all that's supposed to be in your bottle. Let's say you are a trainer and all of a sudden you notice that all fight long, your opponent's bottle has been clear and all of a sudden it's blue or red. Like, even if it's just Gatorade, which is what replaces your electrolytes and all of that, okay? And rehydrates you. Is that not cheating? You have a bottle of water. That's all you have. That's what your opponent is supposed to have. And you got people that will say, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they chew. What you mean there's nothing wrong with that? What do you mean? If you're supposed to have nothing but water in your bottle, which is the case, you are not supposed to have Gatorade in the bottle, none of that. It's not the NBA. Okay? Plain and simple. Clear advantage. Because while you're drinking water, here's the thing. You guys get 3 months to train. Right? And you train for 3 months, your opponent trains for 3 months. If your opponent is pushing himself harder than you did, and your team is realizing, like, damn, my guy's slowing down, you know, he's gassing, you know, he's not looking as fresh as this guy, and decide, you know what, let me just do some Gatorade. Let me explain something to y'all. You don't have to use steroids. You don't have to use a PED to cheat. Plain and simple. Just like when you out there hooping in the street. If the guys you playing, if there's a water fountain out there, anybody can say, oh, hold up, time out, and go to the water fountain. But if you're playing against guys and there's no fountain out there, and you say, hold up, let me run in my car and get some game. Everybody's like, man, yo, nah, hell no. You crazy? Hell no. All right, well, everybody getting the swig then. That's what it ask any street baller. That you don't first off, because it's basically what you're doing is we're all tired. We're all out here playing the same amount of minutes. But guess what? I'm gonna go get some Gatorade. Not only that, a nice cold one from the cooler in my car while everybody else is out here tired. Yeah, guess what's gonna happen? You gonna start recouping. And we're still gonna be out here huffing and puffing and gassing it. This is what I'm saying to you guys, it's common sense. So when you guys are making excuses about someone cheating and something that can be in your system that will cause you to have enhancements that will last, and your opponent is just doing everything natural. It's just the difference between natural bodybuilders and guys who take all this shit. You ever see these guys when they don't take that shit? How disgustingly flabby they get? Okay. When you do it natural, you look completely different. So if you are slowing down and they're not working out as much, you still look human. These guys look like they look like melted ice cream, man. And I'm sitting here reading comments and listening to people talk, and just like clearly you can see it's not boxing fans. These guys are boxer fans. And that's all they care about. So all of these things that I'm hearing, it's like, okay, certain things not even worth talking about, because the fan base that's going to respond to a lot of things are the ones that's going to have all the hate. Which that would never stop me from saying what I'm going to say. But what I'm saying is, for people who don't respect rules and regulations, they don't respect fairness. Unless it's their fighter, that means you don't respect rules and regulations and fairness. Okay? So how this goes is this. Like I already said, but I just want to close the video with this thought. Canelo's fans are a lot like Wilder's fans. Okay? And a lot like Fury fans. Fanboys. Let me label that. Okay, I'm not a fan of anybody's, but I know people that are fans that don't go all crazy about things. Okay, but these fanboys or these super fans, or whichever one you want to call them, these guys are the worst, because there's nothing ever that the fighters that they like can do wrong. They'll always have an excuse for them. They'll always come to their defense, and it doesn't change the facts. It just shows your bias. Like I said earlier, if Canelo Alvarez had even said to Demetrius Andre, look, man, I'm not impressed with you. I feel like you need to beat some better fighters or whatever, then we can fight. I would still call bullshit on that. Most definitely. But the fact that it's a flat out no against Demetrius Andre, no. This guy's a horrible fighter. Horrible fight. This is what he says. But then he says Jake Paul is not ready. He gets some more fights under his belt, beat some elite level fighters. That, wait a minute, when will this happen? And how old is Canelo right now? 31, something like that, between 30 and 32. Okay, so Jake Paul is what, 24? Look at the level Jake Paul is on right now. Look at the people that he chooses to fight. You don't see what Jake and his brother Logan is doing. So that's why I said, if he was just trying to not sound completely disrespectful or something and just say, well, he's not ready yet, and which he's not. But for him to actually get to a point where he's good enough to fight Canelo, when would that be? Sometime in February? I mean, let's be real. Let's just say, for example, Jake or Logan Paul name just generates the type of money where it's like, hey, look, Canelo, $100 million. If Canelo took that fight, and see, you guys can talk like you personally know him or you're a part of his body, you know what he would or wouldn't do. You can do all that. That doesn't change anything. But if, regardless to his skill level or lack of, if something happened where Jake or Logan was able to fight a Canelo Alvarez and generate like $100 million. I'm just giving a number that's something that's like even Canelo ain't gonna make fighting another pro boxer. If you think Canelo wouldn't take that fight, okay, and you saying he won't, okay. A lot of times people say no to something when they don't see it actually materializing, and then all of a sudden, like, oh shit, it happened. Are you guys gonna change your opinion about Floyd Mayweather? Are you guys gonna change your opinion about all the shit that you said trying to protect Manny Pacquiao? Are you gonna change your opinion or actually give an honest opinion about the fact that Ali went and did what he did? Are you going to change your opinion about Roy Jones wanting to fight Anderson Silva first? Why I'm saying all of this is because certain fighters, like I said, can do something and succeed at it, and other fighters do the same thing or attempt to, but they don't get criticized at all for it. And like I said, even when people said Floyd retired too early, Floyd was 38 fucking years old. Rocky Marciano retired at 32, and I never heard nobody say Marciano retired too early. In fact, I heard the opposite. Marciano was smart. He did what he had to do. You can't abuse your body forever. He retired while he was still on top. And he got the rest of his life to live and just relax now. He was 32. Okay? That's a 6-year age difference. But Floyd was too young. He left too early. What else was Floyd supposed to do? Oh, he should have fought Keith Thurman. He should have fought, hold up, he should have fought Keith Thurman. He should have fought Danny Garcia. He should have fought Sean Porter. Right? He should have fought Errol Spence. Okay. Well, he didn't. Neither did Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he just fought, he fought Keith Thurman and did exactly what I thought he was going to do. Exactly what I thought Floyd would have did. They beat him easily. Okay. He just lost to, what's his name, the other day. Whatever his name is. Okay, so the thing is, people are unrealistic about what they want. Manny Pacquiao can't fight forever. Floyd called it a night when he felt like it was right for him to call it a night. Manny Pacquiao, whether he retires or keep fighting, that's up to him. But all this talk about, oh, this guy's doing this and this guy's doing that, what that got to do with the next person? I mean, like I said, you got content creators right now, and you take whatever it is that they make per, when they do their super chats in their lives and all that, right? If someone from YouTube, and they talk about how much they love boxing, right? They're not close to being no fucking millionaire. Not even close. If someone from YouTube contacted Dante's Boxing Nation, okay, for example, and said, hey, listen, man, you're doing all this boxing content. You got a nice following. Okay, check this out, though. This is what I need from you. I will give you, okay, we have a $10 million check for you. $10 million. But what you got to do, you have to destroy your YouTube channel. Right? Or not destroy it. You have to completely flip it. We want you to talk about professional wrestling from now on. And the agreement is you can never talk about boxing again on YouTube. Do you think that motherfucker would turn that $10 million down? So all the people that claim they love boxing so much, they're so old, man, and they get so irate when things happen and they voice their opinions on every single thing that they hear, even when it's not even about boxing, when it's about somebody's personal life. You think that these people would turn their money down? These are the same people that would say, the same people that said Anthony Joshua should have accepted that so-called $50 million. Right? You think that they would say, nah, YouTube, I'm all about boxing. I can't accept that $10 million. I'm going to keep creating my YouTube content and making my little checks off of that. Do you really think? And let me just say this. Okay, you already got 300,000 subscribers. We have a way we can actually add another whole 300,000. In fact, 500,000 to your 300,000 already. And those 500,000 are going to be diehard wrestling fans. We're going to link all that to you. 10 million. That dude would erase all that boxing shit, restart he would do everything in his power to get that 10 million. So when these people sit up and always can tell you what somebody else would or wouldn't do or should or shouldn't do with their money, trust me, all it is talk. If they were ever in that position, it's like I said, it's because people don't see themselves being in that position. But if they were ever in that position, they would do exactly the opposite of what they're saying a fighter should or shouldn't do. And who the hell are you to tell what they should or shouldn't do with their money? But at the end of the day, back to, basically what I'm saying, I'm just pointing out all this hypocrisy. All these people talking about what somebody else should or shouldn't do, what they would or wouldn't do. Oscar talking all this about Floyd being broke. That's why he come back to do exhibitions. And the crazy thing about it is, the dude can come back and make way more money than any of these current fighters fighting a YouTuber. Now all of a sudden, guess who's putting the gloves back on? So is that not being a hypocrite? Oh, he's doing it because he loves boxing. Right. The guy waits, been out the sport for over a decade, and wait till he's 48 now, whatever. Oh, now he's gonna make a comeback now. And y'all believe that. Okay. Anyway, that's the issue that people are having with Canelo. Plain and simple, is the fact that he flat out told Demetrius Andre no, but yet even said that, took the time to even explain about Jake Paul and saying that he'd have to beat somebody, like he's not ready right now. So when would Demetrius Andre be ready then? Because he's already 34 now. When will he be ready? Don't wait for Demetrius Andre to turn 36, 37. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he's still champion, still can fight or something. But don't wait for him to do that and fall off and then decide, oh, now I'll give him what he want. Then destroy him and say, see, I told you guys 4 years ago. He was nothing. Yeah, well, also 4 years ago, he was a better fighter. Let's not play those type of games. And this is why people were so irritated. And then the other thing is because Canelo fans, okay? Now, for Canelo fans that don't feel this way, then this obviously don't apply to you. But for the ones that do feel this way, it's all about you. Because what happens with a lot of Canelo fans, just like Pacquiao, he can do no wrong. And if he's under the same suspicion that somebody else is, they're automatically guilty. But no, there's no way Canelo did that. So my thing is, when you guys are sitting here making stupid comments, when you guys are sitting here trying to just say anything that makes no sense, or trying to dig up dirt on another fighter, even the opponent, to try to justify what happened or what he was accused of, they found in his system. It's like I always say, if somebody raped your fucking child, in retaliation, would you rape their child? And then go yell rapist? No, because a rapist is a fucking rapist, and you're no better or no different from that person. So even if you physically decide, no, I'm gonna put hands on this dude, I'm gonna do this, if you decide not to even go to the authorities and you decide you want to do it yourself, fine. But what I'm saying, right? Would you rape that child? He raped my daughter, I'm gonna rape his daughter. No, you'd find another way to retaliate, right? Or would you? Because this is what you guys do when it comes to somebody. Okay, understand, it's not us, it's not content creators, it's not other fighters that found something in somebody's system. So when they do vital testing and, okay, something ain't right with your A and your B sample. Hold up. Damn, something ain't right with this and that either. Okay, wait, you failed this, you failed, you got high levels of such and this, and right? All of this shit that goes on. And you guys sit up here, and when somebody bring it to the table, oh, what about such and such? They found high level. We ain't talking about that. We talking about him. Because Canelo choose to not say anything about Caleb Plant, because he choose to not retaliate and say anything about, well, you went to whatever. You guys try to do it for the fighters. My intentions when I talk about it is not about, ooh, guess what we found out about him. If you're guilty, you're guilty. If you're innocent, you're innocent. My thing is, when this shit keeps happening, and nobody's doing anything about it to where it stops. Not, oh, we're going to get strict on this particular fight, but then we'll go back to slacking and letting it just go back to the same thing. That's not helping anything. That's not helping. Anything that you put in your body that will give you just a slight advantage is still cheating. And when people start going, oh, but that's not important. No, it's not important to you. You're not the fighter or the trainer. But I guarantee you, for all the fans that's a fan of a fighter who's been accused or under suspicion because something was in their system several times, I guarantee you if they fought a guy and they're both were dead tired and all of a sudden this opponent comes out of the corner and just starts swinging for the fences, all of a sudden he has energy out of nowhere, you guys wouldn't say he got a second win. First thing you say is, yo, I think they gave that motherfucker something in the corner because, yo, I just come out all of a sudden, and this is what you guys don't understand. Anything that give you any type of advantage, whether look, if your endurance, your stamina is increased by this shit, if you got extra power, anything that wasn't done naturally, it's cheating. So I don't understand why people sit there and it has to be a steroid. It has no, in your fucking mind it does. But overall, anything, just like I said, all you got to do is take a fucking walk. Fuck competing. Go for a hike somewhere. And all of a sudden you get to that point where you got to stop for breath. You're starting to dehydrate. You're getting dry. But your good old buddy got 8 bottles of water in his fucking backpack. And he's over there just sipping away every few miles. He's good. But you sitting over there. Now imagine him going, come on, man. Why you so tired? Keep up. What's the first thing that will come out your mouth? Man, you over there drinking water. We walking up this fucking hill. I'm tired. I don't have nothing to drink. I'm dehydrated. He won't have that problem, but you will. I can't make it any more clean, no, or more plain and simple than that. Plain and simple. You're hiking. You have no water. He has water. You don't. He don't need a steroid. He don't need anything to give him a boost. Just that water that's keeping him hydrated. Okay? So the problem of hydration right there. You're experiencing it and he's not. You're getting tired. You're getting burnt out. That guy can keep going because he's sipping his water and he's not suffering like you are. What's the difference in a boxing ring or any other sport? You understand what I'm saying? That's why in the NBA, what do you see? They come down, they supply both teams. They got access to Gatorade, whatever, water, whatever's legal. That's what they have access to. Now imagine if only the championship team got it, but the other team didn't. Oh, that's not fair. Ain't that what you'd say? That's not fair. How come they get him Gatorade but not them? Okay then. So if you in your corner and the motherfucker is giving his fighter Gatorade or anything to give him an energy boost and all you have is water, you think that's fair? And that alone can be the difference between somebody winning, losing, or somebody living or dying. Plain and simple. Boxing as a sport is brutal enough as it is. So any advantage that you have is cheating. Grow up, get your head out your asses, and stop making excuses because your favorite fighters are being accused and you don't want to fucking admit that, hey, it's the truth. I mean, it is a fact. It's a point that it's a possibility that it could be true. I don't know. Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully there is a logical explanation that something that was in his system that had nothing to do with him cheating. So all of this whole, understand something. You want to know what you see on every all access show, whether it's Canelo, whether it be Floyd or whoever, you want to know what you always see briefly on every show? Every one of them motherfucking rich fighters have a chef. Their own chef. Whether they live in their house or whether they come visit every day, they always have their own chef. So where the fuck do you get in your head that it's okay to just go off task and start eating just anything? Especially when you yourself know. You know. Offhand. Nah. There's a history of this type of shit having something in it that shows up in your system. The meat itself has steroids in it. But you eat it. You are aware of something, but you do it anyway. Let me give you another simple analogy, okay? If you know when you come out your house to your right on the corner, there's always loose pit bulls running around, and they're vicious. Would you know, and you know about it? Not only that, people have been attacked. Would you just walk down there? And if you had to walk down there, if you had to, would you go empty-handed, or would you bring something to protect yourself? All I'm trying to do is get people to use common fucking sense. Nothing I'm saying is complex or should be going over anybody's head. It's common fucking sense. You would not go down there. Why? Because you don't want to get chewed the fuck up and killed, right? You don't want to get mauled by these dogs. So if you have to go down there, you're going to go down there with the weapon, right, to defend yourself. What if it's a situation where your kids get off, a school bus drops right there? Now you're concerned, right, for your child, for those other children, right? So you have common fucking sense. So let's not sit here and play stupid and act like we don't realize that anything that you use that will, whether it gives you an energy boost, rehydrate you, anything other than what the fuck your opponent has in his corner over there. And the fact, what I'm saying is what you're doing, you don't want anybody to know. They're not supposed to know you got something else in that bottle mixed in that water. So no, I'm not going to give them something that's going to show color because they'll know. Why is that bottle blue? Why is that bottle red, right? No, something that just dissolves in the water. Boom, boom. We're going to save that one for the middle rounds or late or whatever. That's cheating. Plain and simple. And you know what the problem with that is? After the fight, when you get tested, and oh, hold up, something came up in this guy's system. It's a whole nother black eye on the sport of boxing that y'all claim y'all love so much, but yet y'all make excuses for fucking fighters for doing dirty shit. So I covered all bases, okay? Everything I wanted to talk about in this video, I talked about. And again, the reason why I played the Canelo Alvarez clip, because that's what I really wanted to talk about, that and get back on this cheating shit again. But why I really played that is because everybody that's speaking about the situation, a lot of people are making it personal with Canelo because Canelo's fans are constantly making excuses for him. Because it's not so much what Canelo is saying. He's not saying much anything. But the fact that we do know he turned down a fight with Demetrius. He turned his offer down and said he's a horrible fighter. But the fact that he even took the time to consider that, you know, if this guy Jake Paul gets his skills up and be an elite fighter. Like I said, if that was to fucking happen, where all of a sudden they're like, Canelo, Jake Paul is a fucking superstar, man. Listen, like I said, I just said 100 million. But let's say, fuck 100 million. Let's say 300 million. Like Floyd made against Conor McGregor. Okay? Do you think that he turned that 300 million down? Do you really think that? And you want to know what's crazy? Why haven't they called out Conor McGregor right now? No, they've made some noise, just said his name. But no. Why? Because they're not sure that Conor's completely past his prime yet is enough to where he might not be able to beat Jake Paul. No. They want to watch and know and feel confident. Okay, this guy here. Tyron Woodley had, 4 or 5 straight losses before this last fight against Jake Paul. Again, they're not calling out current guys. For one, they know that they can't beat these guys. And two, to be perfectly honest with you, the type of money that these guys are making, they're making it in easy fights. Okay, and even, why do you think they talk about how he fought Floyd? Floyd is 100, what was he, 151 pounds or something like that in the fight? This dude, Jake Paul, is like 200 pounds. Why the fuck do you think, what I said, they fight smaller, older guys who are no longer in their prime? Because the one thing that he felt confident about more than anything is his size versus Floyd's size. So I ain't worried about Floyd hurting me. He's too small. And listen, Floyd looked like he just went there to have fun and make some money. Floyd ain't going there trying to kill this guy and take him out. And Floyd didn't have a training camp. So no, you don't see a sharp Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a prime Floyd Mayweather. No. These guys don't call out guys in their prime. Plain and simple. Why don't Jake or Logan Paul call out a guy like Anthony Yard, somebody who has vulnerabilities that other professional boxers can exploit, but will clearly knock either one of them the fuck out. You know why they don't. Why they don't call out any fighter that's their size, and not only their size, but current and elite. They don't do that. They're not gonna do that, and they have no intentions on doing that. Now, let's just say if they got better through time to really today were actually good. The difference in that would be simply because the only difference in that would be they have experience, right? But you get experience, you get better fighting better competition. These dudes would never be on the level of a Canelo. They would never be elite fighters, neither one of them, because the only way for that to happen is for these guys to actually take this shit to the point where no, I want to become heavyweight champion of the world or cruiserweight champ or whatever weight class they are. That's the only way. If even then, there's no guarantee that they'll get that good, but I'm saying that's the only way. These dudes all about making this money. They are basically, added income to what they already do, podcasts, YouTube channels, all that, and just basically doing entrepreneurial things. I just seen Logan Paul on Raw or SmackDown, one of them the other day. These guys are all over the place. This is what they do. These guys are not boxers. They're not dedicated boxers. So this is why they're doing what they're doing. Not to mention, they don't want to fight boxers. Not even really ex-boxers, especially somebody their size. So, like I said, Little Floyd, yeah. And bottom line, regardless of all of that, when people start getting to the point where you stop making sense and you just start going with the majority and you don't even realize you're behaving just like everybody else, and then you call yourself a fight fan, you don't have room to point finger at the LDBC or anybody else. Because the only difference is you're showing the same type of favoritism and the same ignorance just towards different fighters, different skin color, different nationality or whatever. And that's all you're doing. And anytime we get to a point where people make excuses up for fighters cheating, it's a wrap. And yes, the Valdez fight is still on. I played the clip for you guys. You heard what he said, right? Clearly he said he thanks the whatever organization for allowing this fight to proceed. And that's the last and final word that we got. So, in all honesty, we don't even feel like we can trust anything anymore. Why? Because people lie. But yet, they fight with facts. They fight with proof. They fight with the truth. So you never know who's on the other side of you when you're talking. Because you got a lot of people that smile and talk and agree with everything you say. But guess what? They do everything that you say behind your back. So you don't see them do it, right? How are you going to support a cheat, man? I don't give a fuck about all that countryman shit. Fuck your countrymen. Fuck that. I don't care what country you come from. If you come right from here, if you came from my mother's belly, if you a fucking cheat, what am I supporting? You think I sit here and know my brother's a cheat and I'm not going to chew his ass out? I'm going to sit back because it's my brother and go, oh, hey, the other motherfuckers are doing it, so hey, why can't you do it? I don't give a shit about your countrymen. I don't give a fuck about your patriotic bullshit where you want to sit up here and support a cheat. If you support a cheat, you ain't shit yourself. And again, you got no room to say nothing about the LDBC or any fucking body else who does the same shit you're doing, because you're all in the same boat. In other words, y'all motherfuckers are Bloods and Crips. Latin Kings versus MS-13. That's what the fuck y'all are. All y'all did was pick a side, and we're going to do the same thing them motherfuckers doing. That's all you doing. And the only difference between fans and content creators is the fans that don't have content creators, all y'all do is ride the bandwagon of these guys who talk about and show favoritism to your favorite fighters. And that's all that is. So anyway, I wanted to touch on that and clear up, basically explain what this controversy is about. Because everybody's going to make videos and say they want to say it and add their own twist to it. But that's where it's coming from, this video with Canelo. Like I said, the video is like 3 minutes and 35 seconds long. I'm not giving up the link and all that bullshit. Y'all find it on your own. You just heard it yourselves. But pretty much, he said what he said, and that's the end of it. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.